From the National Newsroom of the Canadian Press, I'm Karen Rebo. Canada's Foreign Affairs Minister says following the American ouster and arrest of Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro, her U.S. counterpart finds it important that Venezuelans have a chance to elect their own leader.
Anand says U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio took part in a call with his G7 colleagues on Tuesday and spoke of the importance of democracy in Venezuela, as well as the release of political prisoners. Those views attributed to Rubio differ from U.S. President Donald Trump's focus on economic gain and intervening in drug trafficking, which he has stated as the reason for the U.S. capturing Maduro. Rob Westgate, The Canadian Press.
The head of NATO has heaped praise on Canada, both for stepping up in support of Ukraine and for taking a leadership role in the defense of the far north. Secretary General Mark Rutte met with Prime Minister Mark Carney yesterday in Paris as part of allied talks to finalize security agreements for Ukraine in any peace deal to end Russia's war. Carney returned to Ottawa last night, but he had spoken earlier about the importance of scaling up Canada's military to defend the wider Arctic region, where China and Russia have become more active. The PM referred to Greenland and the Arctic as NATO's western flank. Carney's comments came hours before White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt said that President Donald Trump and his advisors are discussing a range of options to acquire Greenland and that utilizing the U.S. military is always an option. In response, European nations released a statement saying security in the Arctic must be achieved collectively with NATO allies, including the U.S. Novo Nordisk Canada is considering competing with generic versions of its own brand name Ozempic and Wegovy drugs by introducing renamed lower-priced copies of their own medications. Health Canada approved the company's submissions for Plosprio and Pavistra last month, saying the diabetes and weight loss drugs are identical to Ozempic and Wegovy. The agency is considering 9 submissions from other drug companies also to make generic semaglutide. Experts say the generics won't likely be approved for at least a few months. Tim Hortons has brewed up a new partnership to go along with its long-time participation in hockey and winter sports. The Canadian cafe giant now gets to tout the title of Olympic sponsor. It signed its first ever partnership with the Canadian Olympic Committee. Tim's chief marketing officer, Hope Bagozzi, means athletes, their coaches, and families will have at least one Canadian comfort on hand while in Italy for the February Games.
We'll be able to have our coffee be able to be served to Canadians, athletes, and visitors on the ground so they can enjoy a taste of home at the Olympics.
Customers back home will receive their food and drinks in Olympic-themed packaging and get special offers with every Canadian gold medal. This is the Canadian Press. In sports, in the NHL, Connor McDavid scored 3 times, and the Edmonton Oilers whipped the visiting Nashville Predators 6-2. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins recorded his 500th career assist in that Oilers win. Thomas Hertl scored with 13 seconds left in overtime to lift Vegas to a 4-3 victory over the Winnipeg Jets. That was the Jets' 10th straight loss. Austin Matthews scored his 21st goal of the season as the Toronto Maple Leafs beat the Stanley Cup champion Florida Panthers 4-1. And the Vancouver Canucks opened a 6-game road trip with a 5-3 loss to the Buffalo Sabres. It was Buffalo's 11th win in 12 games. In women's pro hockey, the New York Sirens shut out the host Toronto Scepters 2-0. In the NBA, the Toronto Raptors had the night off, but they will pick things back up tonight at Charlotte. Last night, LeBron James and Luka Doncic each scored 30 points to help the Lakers hold off the reeling New Orleans Pelicans. From the Canadian Press, I'm Karen Rebo.
Thanks for listening. Don't forget to follow and subscribe. For more of today's top stories, visit thecanadianpressnews.ca.